This video is aimed at advanced users who want to use a list control that is based on a SQL database, and they want to use in-place editing to edit the data in the list, but they want to write the SQL themselves to actually perform the SQL CRUD operation to update the backend database. So normally if you have a list control that is based on a SQL table, and you have in-place editing turned on, and you also have the detail view turned on, then Alpha Anywhere will generate the SQL to perform the CRUD operations automatically. However, if you want to write the SQL yourself, you'll need to know which rows were edited and what the current value in each field is and what the original value in each field was, and you'll need to make sure that the detail view is not turned on. So you can see here we have a simple list that is based on the Northwind customer table, and I've got a button over here that just dumps out the data so we can see the JSON data that's actually in the list. So you can see here this is the data, and there's no indication in the list right now about which rows have been edited and what the original values in the rows in each row was. But if we go to, say, for example, this row and edit it and change it to around the horn 2, and then we'll go to row 3 and edit that and change that to consolidators holdings 2, and then commit that. Then you can see that we've edited rows 1 and row 3, which is basically using the zero-based index. That's row 0 and row 2. And if we dump out the data now, we see that basically in the first row here, row number 0, the current value in the company name is 2. There's a flag there called underbar edited, which is true, which tells me that the row itself has been edited. And here is the old data, the original data in the list before the edit was performed. Now if we go and perform another edit on this row, so change that to row 3, then we expect that the old data doesn't change, that the old data should be the data before any edits were made. So let's go ahead now and dump out the data, and we can see now that it says around the horn number 3, but the original data, the old data, is still the original data in the list before any edits were made. So if I want to now write my own SQL to perform the CRUD operation, I can create a button that makes an AJAX callback and that harvests the data in the list, looking for all the rows that have underbar edited equals true. If underbar edited is undefined, then this means that that row has not been edited at all. So I can then basically, in my AJAX callback, send this data back to the server, and on the server I can compute the SQL CRUD operation, the SQL CRUD statement to update this row. So let's take a look now behind the scenes as to what's going on. So first of all, the code that dumps out the data is just simply getting a pointer to the list object, getting the data, stringifying the data using JSON stringify, and then setting the inner HTML of a pre-tag to the data. So you can see that we have over here, we have a pre-tag, so that's where we're displaying the data in the list. Then if we go to the list itself and we go to the events on the in-place editing, we can see that on edit save, so this event is called when the user commits the edits that they've made to the current row. You can see what we're saying over here is if the underbar old data property is defined, in other words, if it's not equal to undefined, then do nothing other than just set the edited flag to true. So basically when this code here executes, we have access to row number, which is the row number in the list data that we're currently editing, new data, which is the data that we've edited, and then data, which is the original data before edits in the row were started. So these are not the original edits were started, but the most recent edits. So you can see here we're saying that if data.oldData has not yet been defined, then do nothing. Otherwise, we're basically creating a new object called old data, which is disconnected. So we haven't just simply said old data equals data, because that would just be a pointer to data. We've basically created a brand new object called old data by stringifying data and then parsing data, which is would be the same thing as doing, I think it's a $u.o.sign, which is one of the built-in methods in the alpha JavaScript library. And then we're basically setting the underbar old data property in the list data directly to old data. So that's all that is necessary in order to put the old data into each row in the list when that row is edited. And that's going to be enough information to write the JavaScript that makes the AJAX callback and passes the information to the server, where the server can compute the SQL CRUD statement and then execute the SQL CRUD statement. Thanks very much for watching.